What up? What up? Welcome to Bindle's Bestball stream. He's going to join us in a little bit. Got a little bit of a delay, but Mathology and I figure we'll vamp a bit and get us kind of started off. How's it going, Math? How you doing?
Things are good. Things are good. You know, we're modeling the Pillow Talk right here. The rookies are coming in. We're trying to see what they have to offer. So, trying to make some money.
A lot of beautiful rookie youth being injected into the stream. It seems from your preliminary findings.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm rocking some Mardi Gras stuff to ring in the Mardi Gras season. The wife is away doing some parades, so I am going to keep the house locked down and go crazy in some big boards this weekend. So hopefully we can draft one today and kind of get your thoughts on it because it's an interesting new world. Old ADP is still kind of sticking in the back of my head. I don't know about you, and so it's kind of weird getting used to some of these new prices.
Yeah, sticker shock for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Did you figure? Let's just start off there then, because it's like, what? It sounds like you've already done a few drafts. You're kind of like going in, and what was the thing that took you by surprise first? I'm curious what you really found surprising.
Running backs moving up pretty high. I was kind of shocked to see Pacheco where he kind of was at first. I thought, like, whoa. So I haven't clicked that yet. I feel like that's only going to go down. And I just saw ETR kind of launch their rankings. I think they have him pushed down, so that will change the market and move him down. I was kind of surprised to see the quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I was very going in like, okay, where are we going to be elite quarterback? But they seem to get pushed down, which I kind of like. And then definitely I've been really eyeing where is that wide receiver cliff. Like last year was a big point of emphasis to try to get 5 through 8. Is that going to be consistent this year, or we're going to have to be, is it like 5 through 7? Or whatever, wherever it is, so just kind of keeping an eye on where that is. As the player takes go, I'm not much of a player take guy. I kind of just set some rankings and try to figure out how to maximize, my where I want to kind of place my bets. And normally it's just offense base. I attacked Kansas City pretty hard last year. That didn't quite work out for me the way that shook down, but if you invest in the Niners and the Dolphins last year, you had a pretty good year. So I'm going to try to do the same thing this year, pick a couple offenses and just kind of hit it pretty hard.
From that standpoint, do you have any preliminary thoughts about, because God, it seems like, I think I saw something like there's only like one OC. I think Bobby Slowick is the longest tenured OC in the league right now. And obviously there's head coaches that call plays like McVay and Andy Reid. But so from that standpoint, and did anything catch your eye with the coaching carousel change-ups? Maybe either, positive or negative?
Well, I was really following Ben Johnson around. If he moved, I was going to invest wherever he went. But I'll still invest in Detroit now that he stayed. I think that's an offense that definitely I want to be placing some bets on to perform really well, especially right now. Other than Laporta, everybody's ADP is actually pretty nice. So it's a one offense that I'm going to hit pretty hard. The steamiest offense is Houston. Your Texans, your boys over there. Oh man, their pricing is, you got 3 of them in the top 6 rounds now.
And it doesn't look like they're slowing down. I'm seeing Tank Dell rise higher and higher. It seems like every draft. Same with Stroud. Stroud going ahead of AR is interesting because, like, outside of the injury fudge shit with mobile quarterbacks, it's just, I'm like, you got to really love Stroud as a pocket. And I don't know, it's reminiscent a little bit of the post-rookie year Justin Herbert steam, where he was getting steamed, into the 3rd, 2nd round with the elite guys, despite not having as much of a rushing floor and ceiling as those two. nor a history of scoring that much. Um, Obviously, with Bob and same, yeah, Ben Johnson saying, yeah, I can't stop hammering the Detroit guys. Harder to stack the full team, obviously, with Jameer and Amon Ra going the first round together now.
Yeah.
But the ancillary guys, which we saw have viability, all very easy to stack. Goff still going around basically where Kirk Cousins and Dak and that Geno cohort last year were going. Um, might be one of the easiest QB clicks if you've got any one of the Detroit guys. But yeah, Houston, similar thing. You feel good about Bobby Slowick staying, um, but price wise, it's like the market doesn't seem to have too much concern about Tank Dell's injury and size um and I mean they're guys, Robert Woods and Noah Brown. They're likely to, and Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is a free agent. He was a one year signing for 7 million last year. So you got to think they're gonna, they have some of the most, if not the most, cap space in the league this year. Obviously not the first round pick, trading it to get Will Anderson last year with Arizona, but you got to think they're gonna try to influx as much talent as they can. I know D'Amico Ryan's mentioned, defense and edge being uh, a point of emphasis there, but uh, would not be surprised if they add additional resources on the offense as well, because this just feels. I think Greg Rosenthal said it on Mina Kimes' podcast that this is the perfect coalition of events for Houston's rebuild. And if you're going to really go all in, you've got the most cap space. You've got some picks this year with a rookie quarterback that's got 3 extra years before he's got his 5th-year extension. So I like Tank. I like what he did. A little bit of reservation, obviously, with injury that we've seen hamper guys like Pollard, but not hamper guys like Waddle. I've heard some preliminary stuff from guys like Jeff Mueller, fantasy PT, who isn't as concerned with Tank's injury off the bat. And we're getting a little weedy here, but these are just some of the thoughts I've had. But it's interesting to see that we're kind of being like, there's no way they take another couple guys or pay a guy. And I mean, the Bucks guys since last year when the Mike Evans negotiations went south have been pretty adamant he's not a lock to stay.
Yeah.
And then you've got guys like Stephon Diggs that are rumored to be traded away, and it makes sense for Buffalo, at least as far as like how all the assets are kind of shifting and turning, and how they can kind of they need to revitalize the youth aspect of their team. So, I love Nico and Tank and Stroud. Obviously, Stroud could get buoyed by even more talent being added, but his ancillary guys, probably the only one I don't have as much reservation about is Nico, just because of what he was able to demonstrate with and without Tank and his profile, his yak profile. He seems like he's going to be a priority re-signing for them, an extension for them. Obviously healthy and not being injured, but I think if they get like a Mike Evans or a Stephon Diggs, or even invest some more wide receiver draft capital, 2nd or 3rd round, I think that could impact Tank a little bit more, just because he's that slider build. He's a smaller guy and he got hurt on him. So there's a chance that they manage him from a coaching standpoint with a guy like D'Amico. I am cognizant that they might be weary of that going forward, and maybe he gets utilized more as a slot guy, which isn't concerning in the general sense. You got like guys like Amon Ra and things. He's bigger build, but succeed despite of that. But Tank wasn't running a ton of 2 wide receiver sets. He was, that was more Noah, and it was more Woods when Noah was injured. So if they prioritize the run game again this year, and they ran a lot on early downs, I could easily see them trying to upgrade their veteran prototypical 2 wide receiver set guys, and all of a sudden Tank, awesome profile, awesome efficiency, but volume and snaps become a concern. So this is these are the thoughts that are going through my head as we kind of get back into the season. I'm trying to, already work out some macro things, because this is the season for extreme optimism or extreme pessimism. And so and you see it in these rooms.
Big
I
time.
just did a draft earlier today where guys like Raheem Mostert and Chuba dropped 2-3 rounds past ADP, but guys like Tank and Rice and Marvin and Neighbors all went, 1-2 rounds ahead. So, and we kind of saw that last year, where rookies got steamed up and they rarely dropped, if
Yeah.
at all, until like severe injury or FUD came out, and it took some time to adjust. Guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba, for instance, took about a month to kind of drop 2-3 rounds, and even then, he never really escaped out of the top 7 rounds. So we definitely, it feels like an underdog. We're definitely seeing the value of rookies not be forgotten and maybe even overvalued, depending on what we're valuing, like season long or playoffs. And in the playoffs, we know rookies tend to do really, really, really well, but there were plenty of late round rookies that were the key.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yes, exactly right.
yeah,
Now, just listen to you explain kind of Houston and in the passing attack, and just me how I kind of play these games. A lot of like leverage the leverage side of things. So Houston running attack, is Singletary going to be the guy next year, or are they going to be doing something there? Because like
it's a great
his
question.
price is really nice. So it's
Yeah,
like you let those guys, you let everybody else take all your Houston passing attack, but then you invest in the rushing attack. So when the TDs come through the ground, you're putting yourself up really well. Not even just in your 12 game or 12 team league,
right.
but also moving forward.
Yeah, the pods. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's another good aspect of it and that's why these early drafts are fun, but also dubious because um, we talk about like fragile roles, especially at the running back position, and they're never going to be more fragile than now. We are trying to project before the draft, before free agency, before camp. Um, so, and yeah, as Yosh alludes to, I've thought all along that they're likely to let a guy like Pierce by the wayside. Um, that was kind of my thought coming into the season, that new coaching staff, fifth round capital, and kind of an overachieving behind a bad line. You kind of saw it. Singletary was signed. They said he liked him. There was camp, buzz coming out that he was the vet guy that fit the scheme really well, and he takes over and he proves really well once again in both phases of the game. But average running back out of the backfield for receptions. I will not be surprised if they sign or draft a guy. And D'Amico, he was really familiar with the Shanny, draft guys and use whoever's playing really well. So Singletary feels like a potentially good pick, with the notation that I could see Houston using kind of a rotation of guys and riding hot hand stuff. And so as a vet, he seems like a priority guy because and I had this read last year on these guys. Like D'Amico's a big like vet guy. Casario's a big vet guy. They like culture, they like consistency, they like reliability. And so I definitely think they prioritize keeping guys like Nico and Singletary around who did well and fit the system well and that they're confident with, but they're going to bring in some new talent. And at running back,
right.
easily they could find a guy that they fall in love with as a workhorse in the draft, or they just take a guy that takes over the Pierce Ogunbowale,
Right. Pass catching.
ancillary shit.
Third,
So
third down
I think it
stuff.
just really depends where they put their assets. I think it would be smart to invest in the line and on both sides of the ball, and at receiver, because outside of Nico and a recovering Tank, you got a lot of old dusty bitches. But D'Amico could easily say, let's just invest in the run game, let's invest in the defense, and let Stroud play hero ball. We saw Pete Carroll do that with Russell Wilson for 4 fucking years.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
for sure.
Um, and that's a story of a lot of running backs. You mentioned Pacheco. Same thing with Rashad White. and we were talking about him in the Discord today. Similar, like it's like fuck, third round ADP. Like that just it feels like that's a guy that should be in the fifth round. It's like yeah, he was efficient but mostly through the passing attack. And Nalis is leaving, and as far as coach is leaving, I am so torn up because before the end of the season, I was like, okay, Canales saved and fixed Geno and Baker Mayfield. So
Yeah.
whoever he goes on to fix, I am all in on. And it's
Yeah.
fucking Carolina of
Yeah.
all fucking teams with Bryce Young, who is giving me, I mean, it's major Trevor Lawrence vibes, but it's bad coaching, but we know it's also a really fucking shitty owner, and they have no picks. They've got guys that suck in place. What are they going to do? How are they going to influx the talent in? Can they get better? Yeah, they probably will improve. Will it be worthwhile for fantasy investment? I don't fucking know.
Well, right now, I mean, there's not one Carolina Panther going in the first 100 picks. So, now's the time to maybe sprinkle it in a little bit. Just take two. Don't even bother. Don't even bother the quarterback. Take a running back, take a wide receiver, and just see what happens. I mean, that's what Tampa Bay was really this year.
Yeah.
Most of the offense was just White and Evans, like playing defense.
Well, I'm glad.
DFS,
So I'm glad you said that
was
because I was just listening to JJ Zach recent. What's that?
In DFS, I would just block those two on a lot of my lineups.
Oh,
you had they were scoring combined sometimes 70 points between the two of them.
Yeah.
So you can kind of use that block to get you close to that 200-point week that we're all striving for.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's it. I was gonna jump in a little bit on the Carolina side because I think Chuba might be the guy you want over Singletary because the coaching staff changed, but Canales came in and used the guy that they had that was effective in both phases of the game. We know Chuba is effective in both phases of the game, more so than Rashad White. So maybe we have more confidence. And again, it's dubious confidence because they could easily, but I think the team, from a David Tepper standpoint, using his meddlingness against him. If he's going to meddle, it's going to be to put guys around Bryce to make Bryce better. That's not going to be fucking running backs. That's going to be wide receivers. They need wide receivers and tight ends. So Chuba might be the safest of those like projected mid-round guys who's likely to hey, we've got the cheap, young, effective dude. Let's just keep riding him and get what we get out of and their line's good. Their line is pretty good at run blocking, not so much pass blocking. So, and Canales was kind of much like Slowick, a little bit early down run heavy, and they might utilize that to like limit because Bryce took so many hits, and so I could easily see them going like real play action heavy and real run heavy. And yeah, with no receivers, I think my preferred way to build around Bryce, if I was going to take builds in him, because he's going late enough, is probably Chuba, a bunch of a bunch of rookie wide receivers, maybe even maybe they're a Bowers team, who knows? And it's probably like rookies and Chuba to pair with Bryce. And I'm kind of taking that stance a lot. I know it's volatile to go rookie heavy in these things with so little information, but I'm trying to be aggressive in Senior Bowl and like not mock draft, but like prospect rankings. Like I respect Daniel Jeremiah's rankings a lot. And so if guys he's high on in his top 50 prospects, especially at receiver, because we know that rookie receivers popped off way. I was going through my head like the other day, walking like, who are the rookie running backs? Who are the rookie receivers? Okay, very few fucking rookie running backs like made a difference, and part of that's probably because not super strong running back classes, NILs keeping running backs in college longer now because they're making more money or the same amount of money to stay in college and not get relegated. But also, you've just got such an oversaturation of veteran running backs. And so it seems like maybe the move is to invest in these really striking profile wide receivers that are kind of popping up in the Senior Bowl, popping up in like the anonymous coaches. We really like him. He's all the chatter that, we really like this guy. We're really excited about this guy. when they're hitting kind of like this Venn diagram of exposure and being aggressive on those guys and those profiles, especially because of how cheap they are and how expensive all the receivers are. I think that's a really good way to also pair with quarterbacks that are likely to see a lot of new influx of guys. Guys like Josh Allen might have very, very different all new face receiver room. If Diggs gets traded and they let Gabe walk, they're easily a team that's going to sign and draft a bunch of guys. They have to. Obviously, with Joe Brady, they're going to run plenty, but you need somebody to throw to, and that's propped up guys like Khalil Shakir. But I think that's that dubious fake projected floor at receiver. I don't think Shakir is going to benefit in the way that yeah, Kincaid obviously a big beneficiary, but they feel like a potential Mike Evans team. And easily take a bunch of dart. I mean, they could do what the Chiefs did at both receiver and at DB. Just throw a bunch of darts in the second through fourth round at those and see who pops off.
Yep.
So yeah, like teams like Buffalo, Carolina, those are teams I'm investing more heavily at the rookie receiver room in hopes to like get some stacks. Come draft time. But they also seem like good bets to outproduce if they hit. So trying to be aggressive there because it's just I would rather have a dead roster spot from a rookie that doesn't do anything chasing the profile of way outproducing their ADP and potentially being a big stack in these big board teams versus counting on the Gabe Davises, the Khalil Shakirs, the God, who else is going way too high? That's the Tyler Boyds. It's just guys are not likely to make a big impact over the course of the season, especially when the playoffs come around. Speaking of, it is hilarious to see Sky Moore being basically undrafted. What a downfall from Sky to hell. Jesus Christ, the dude is dead.
So what do you think? Looking at the ADP, where do you think the cutoff is? Where's the wide receiver cliff right now, in your opinion?
So it's funny because like last year we kind of misidentified it. Ended up being way sooner than Rashad Bateman. I think the comfy floor to me is Jacoby Myers. That's the comfy floor. I think you're probably going to have about 10 to 12 dudes above him that are just going to be absolute landmines. But you can see a path, you can see a story, you can feel somewhat comfy given uncertainty with those guys. I think guys that have a little bit more downside than I think Jacoby's probably the Rashad Bateman line where we think that's the line and we're wrong.
Right.
Because I think after that, I'm not really comfortable with anyone that's not a rookie, to be honest. And comfortable, like really. Yeah, I'm like, what about you? Where do you think the cutoff line is?
I put it way back. Right now, I have it like at pretty much wide receiver 42. So that's back. Hold on one second. It's pretty much right at like Christian Watson, right between Watson and Sutton.
I think that's fair. Oh yeah. So I will say I made ranks early on. My one resolution this year was to take dudes out of my player pool I'm not taking because of injury risk or just being a really, really poor profile in best ball. Chase upside, leave downside behind. So I've been drafting off my cutoff ranks. I've got Jacoby a little bit higher in my ranks once again. But looking at the ADP unfiltered, I think that's about right. And I think that line's going to shift once folks kind of wise up a bit because I just think there's guys in here that are much different than the rest, and I think once people start taking stands on that, once people kind of get away from because ADP right now is as fake as it'll ever be. So I think and you're already noticing that with some players. I think people are going to stop just comfort clicking and that'll start really moving things. Yeah, I think the next tier, I'm not interested in any tier. You know what? I'm going to amend my answer. I think my line is, yeah, my line's probably just Brian Thomas. Right after Brian Thomas, I'm like, I'd rather pass. I'd rather start stacking up anywhere else if I can. Because the next tier of guys are all pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah, so
what I'm
you're right
interested,
there, 81, 83.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, so you got a 12-team league, that's top 40 wide receivers. So it's really a fight to 5. So that's why it's
yeah,
like you can't really take detours right now if you really want to get 5 in the first 80 picks.
yeah. And I would say that if you're gonna take detours, which I've done quite a bit, you have to be pretty heavy on rookies. And I'm glad Vaporware brings up Marquise Brown because I was gonna ask, who are you not touching right now? In general, in the middle gross rounds, who is just like no, I'm not dealing with that.
Oh yeah, I don't mind Marquise Brown at all. I mean,
Okay.
I would definitely if I did take a couple detours and like I did earlier and like the Marquise Brown, like his connection with Murray, I think is fine. He's injury prone. Hopefully
So
one year he doesn't get hurt and he should be fine. He's a
if I'm
12
not
point.
mistaken, I think he's a free agent this year.
He is a free agent, yeah.
Yeah. So Vaporware, to answer your question about Marquise, he's one of my do not touch guys. I'm not drafting him right now, given that price. He's going around running backs, quarterbacks, and rookies I'd much rather have. He was so hampered by soft tissue injuries this year. He was so not looking like himself. He's likely a free agent. I think if he signs with Arizona, you know, market favorite for Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think that's as likely as some people would like it to be, but I think they are an easy team to influx talent. The Mike Evans, the Stephon Diggs trade partners. I think they've realized he's not an alpha. He's not the guy that they need to uplift the offense. I think Michael Wilson has a really promising year 2 profile. I would wager that with this analytically sound, moving, youthful team, yeah, I think Marquise leaves Arizona, and he's likely, as Yosh. Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to go to it's going to be like the Thielen show, where he's going to a shitty team that needs receivers, despite whether they're good or not. So I would not be surprised to see him be, somewhere like. God, I had one just now. Oh, dude,
You're just saying the Panthers?
well, yeah, here's a team that needs speed, needs receivers, and doesn't have a quarterback right now. The New England Patriots.
Could be.
Have fun with that. Yeah, there are guys I'm not touching at cost, like Deontay Johnson, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown are all guys I have not had in my own personal rankings this entire time because their profiles do not offer the type of upside I'm looking for at cost versus the rookies at this point in their careers, whether it's injuries or profiles. And I didn't feel super comfortable about Deontay until Arthur Smith signed, and call me player take guy, but if he's a shittier version of Drake London, I'm good. In fact, that said, I am hammering the shit out of Najee, and it feels weird. It's like the girl in high school that was chubby as fuck, and you were not interested, and now she's had a glow up. She's got a dumpy, and you can't take your eyes off of her. Najee is my dumpy right now, and I cannot stop.
Go off to college. You're on college break. You see you at the bar. Why not? Why not? Let's have a night.
Christine, is that you? That's Najee to me right now.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of goes back to my point where it's just like I don't even want to mess around. I want to get my first 5 wide receivers the first 7 rounds. Don't not have to worry about the uncertainty bucket that all those guys are in. You just feel really good, and then just hammer those. Because right now in those first 7 rounds, there's 6 tight ends, 25 running backs, and 10 quarterbacks go. So you're kind of letting that funnel out. You could take 2 detours and grab 2 running backs or a running back and a quarterback. And then you just kind of let wide receiver go, hammer some rookie wide receivers way late in the draft. Then I think you kind of walk away with a pretty nice build if you start that way right now.
Yeah, I think how many drafts have I done now? I've done about 25, and I can say that I'm basically knowing that if I take a couple detours in the first 6-7 rounds, I have to choose which position I'm going to load up on rookies for. And I know intuitively that rookie receivers are better bets to do that. So most of my builds have several rookie receivers, and so I'm reminding myself now to just take shots on veteran running backs that are likely to have roles one way or the other, so that I can just overload on the rookie receivers and be aggressive on those guys. So I've been adjusting, veterans I don't want to have anything to do with in those builds, and so I bumped them down. But yeah, much like last year, like navigating really comes down to like mindful roster construction ahead of time, which is why I've left out certain guys out of the player pool at both positions, running back and receiver, because I don't want to be taking the Rashad Batemans, the Treylon Burkses of last year in the middle rounds whenever I miss to catch up, collecting dust. I'd rather catch up in a meaningful way, digging for diamonds. And Vapor asked a good question about Rome versus the veterans and the second year guys. So yeah, and what I mentioned earlier is I'm weighing like the Daniel Jeremiah, like, oh my God, this guy, or he's really, really exciting, and this guy's popping off in the Senior Bowl. And everything I've heard about Rome from everybody that's looking at him gives me confidence he's going to be a high draft capital guy and a really exciting profile type of guy. He's probably the dude that people go chase to replace Marquise Brown, replace Stephon Diggs, replace Mike Evans. I'm rather chasing him than I've got Ridley and JSN pretty much lower in my rankings. I think JSN I'm not confident Lockett leaves, and even if he does, Daniel Jeremiah noted that his when either one of Lockett or Metcalf were out, his target share increased. But we all did also see that rookie Jake Bobo operated in 2 receiver sets and also got a good chunk of deep and red zone looks. So I'm not confident the Seahawks, especially with new head coach in town, either cut ties with Lockett or let Lockett walk and not address either the tight end or the receiver position. Because also Noah Fant, free agent, Will Disley, Jag, Colby Parkinson, Jag. They kind of like 2 tight end sets. I don't think that's likely to change with a defensive head coach. So I have no Bobo, but he is at my like take a stab if we're fucked.
20th round.
Yeah. So much like when you talked about earlier methodology about like the Houston run game thing, I think I won't be surprised to see them kind of build towards like a 2 tight end play action heavy type of team. So Seahawks may be like a Brock Bowers team, maybe like a Jaheim Bell team, veteran tight end, rookie tight end. And I won't be surprised if they keep taking shots on rookie receivers. I also won't be surprised if they give a guy like Jake Bobo a little bit more exposure with or without Lockett leaving or whatever. So Jason is theoretically nice, but he had a very real disappointing rookie season. And so unlike Treylon Burks and Rashad Bateman and just giving them a pass, I'm going to dock them more than maybe the market is. And I don't think the market's really docked him enough. I think what's booing his price right now is Lockett age and splitting and assuming he just soaks up that work, which I think are much thinner than maybe not. What do y'all think about guys like JSN and that. I could talk more about. I like
think
Addison.
I prefer O'Dunes over all those guys. Like, it's just the upside of, like, if he's the top. I mean, he's getting mocked like what 5-6 overall. I'm not sure. I think he's pretty much a lock for top 10. I don't know if he'll go that high, but
Right.
like, I think that profile, like, I definitely prefer it over like Addison, Ridley, McLaurin, Pickens. Like, they're fine, but they're not guys I'm like, oh man, I'm super happy to click. Like, obviously we need a certain amount of wide receivers through, like we said, 7 rounds, but so I'll be taking them, but it's not. I think O'Dunes is definitely the side shot out of that group.
Well, like Addison specifically, he had an interesting but not fantastic rookie year. Justin Jefferson's not going anywhere, and we saw that if they're going to air out the ball a shitload with Nick Mullins or Kirk Cousins, I'm in on that price from a stacking standpoint and a best ball spike week standpoint.
Yeah.
There's rumors Kirk could return, but I've also got Vikings homers telling me he's got to take a hometown discount. And we saw the Vikings, and it was confirmed in a couple of pods the last couple of months and draft guys talking about last year and going into this year. The Vikings were really trying to trade up and get a quarterback. So it sure strikes me as they either work out a system with Kirk and take a developmental guy and try again, because Jaron Hall is probably not it. Nick Mullins isn't it. So they either get Kirk and sign or draft a Bo Nix, a JJ McCarthy or whatever in the second, third, fourth round, or they straight up try to reset. And we don't know what the quality of that guy is. They're gonna have to trade up a good amount to get that. So Addison, it depends, right? Because I have no issues with Kirk Cousins' Achilles. It's more of just his situation. Because if they try to go a little bit more run heavy with a rookie or a less talented quarterback, your second guy is not as enticing at that price. Ridley looked like ass. He had a shit ton of stuff, so his role was nice.
He had a lot of prayer yards.
Yeah, prayer yards and prayer hands, because he wasn't catching the fucking touchdowns. But I don't know. And then McLaurin, rookie quarterback incoming with a defensive head coach. Pickens has the Arthur Smith curse. So give me that. It could be a boat box Rome more often than not.
Do you guys see the Greg Roman to the Chargers news? I don't know when that dropped. I just saw someone mention that, but I'm not too happy about that one.
What happened?
Greg Roman to the Chargers.
Oh, that's gonna confirm everybody's suspicions that Herbert's gonna get so few pass attempts with Jim Harbaugh in town. Well, and another guy I haven't been loading up on with fragile projected target share is Joshua Palmer, because he's going to like 117, and it's like if he was going 140 plus, he's kind of like a Lazard type of guy, but
seems a little bit rich. I feel like, yeah. Let's see, Purple Yosh. Need to see that combine stuff, but Coleman or Jones maybe. I think Coleman, he's definitely a super good athlete, but I don't think he's very polished. Where I kind of see O'Dunes based on from what I've seen so far. I saw reception perception. I don't think it's like fully like the full thing yet, but that he looked really good and like whatever, good separator, good route runner. Coleman is more just kind of like, I'm going to out athlete you. So I don't view them super similarly. And I think team could take a shot on him in the late, like whatever, like probably pick 20 to 30 range, but I think he's also live to like go early second round. So I think O'Dunes is a pretty big tier above Coleman for me. So not that I don't want some Coleman, but
Coleman's got a top 115 price tag. I mean, the year 3 breakout thing, it's kind of a myth, isn't it? We don't see a lot of year 3 wide receiver breakouts, at least in the last like 5 years that I can note off the top of my head. We chase that, but it's not likely to happen.
I feel like the one that I was surprisingly excited about was Dotson, because I just was like, okay, maybe they get Ben Johnson, maybe
He
it's
was
just
so bad. He was so bad.
yeah. I don't know though. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a maybe that's a bad take. But I was somewhat excited, but now without like the offensive environment, like just really be holding him up, or like I'm definitely not into that anymore. But for a second, I was in.
Dodson's also out of my player pool. Shocker.
Let's see.
Oh, a vaporware. Okay, Nico, year 3 breakout. Yes. That said, he showed promising flashes in both years and had absolute garbage pails for quarterbacks. So there's a caveat, right? And
that's a pretty unique situation too. Like getting Stroud is like such a big boost.
Yeah, that's the most important part. You got to be tethered to a good quarterback.
Yeah, well, and I guess that's a point in favor of Dotson. The problem is Dotson never really profiled as the alpha, and there's already an alpha there. Like in Nico's case, he was set up this year as the main alpha, right? Like rookie Tank Dell, small, undersized profile, coaching staff's really fond of him, yada yada yada. I think to go back to like our resolution stream, everything's about context and price, and it's you can tell yourself a story about anything. How likely is that story, and what are the surrounding factors of that story? Interesting question for y'all. First round, do y'all have any straight up avoids or straight up gimmies? I'm curious.
What do we get, the 10 pick?
Yeah, we are at pick 10.
I don't know.
I have gotten 10 through 12 in the last like 15 fucking drafts.
The old Pete classic end of the first round.
From 9 on, it feels impossible to stack Houston. We kind of talked about like the Nico Tank Stroud thing. Tank's going in the top fucking 28 on a regular basis. So, and then even when I get Nico and Tank, Stroud's going like QB4, QB5 unstacked. He's the Joe Burrow this year. People just taking naked Stroud all over the place.
Are we free to talk right now? We got anybody in the room that might be watching?
I'm not seeing any of the faces that would be watching. So
I recognize Jay Connolly, but I don't know if he's in the stream.
I don't mind trying to do a little Rams thing with Puka and see if
I cannot get enough Puka.
If Puka falls to us, I'm 100% down.
Yeah, you want to talk about a profile of Chase, young guy that just set another historical rookie season. Yeah, I'm hammering him.
I think Stafford still's got it. I really do.
Yeah, I think Stafford has another good year or two. So we're 10. What are y'all comfortable with? Are y'all leaning into the running backs, or are we avoiding running back detours to go receiver?
I'd be fine with one of each, a running back and then a receiver. I don't know. I don't love Kyron or Gibbs, to be completely honest. Like I feel like those out of this, you were just asking the question of who am I not into. It's not full of voids, but I don't know. I'm a little bit scared for both of those guys.
I'm good with Kyron, Nico, JT.
I like to take Nico here and see who comes back, because usually a running back makes it back.
I like it
personally. All right.
I was gonna say Nico as our.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about the Eagles, but around 10, 11, 12, you can really pile up and get Hurts and Smith.
Yeah.
If you think they're going to rebound back to 2022 stuff.
I think he is. I think they are too. I just don't know. Like, I know AJ Brown's probably going to need some sort of injury he was dealing with again. And then I don't know what another running. What do y'all want to do? You want to double tap receiver, or do y'all want to take the running back that fell?
I kind of like JT if he falls. Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good with JT or Debo.
No DJ Moore for y'all? Caleb Williams bump?
Well, again, the quarterback uncertainty really for that price.
Yeah, that's fair.
I still like I just don't I think Spags was talking about this, but like materially, what is different about Debo and Ayuk this year versus last year, other than just vibes? Like I feel like there's why were they going pick what was like 30 and pick 50 or something around last year, 55. And now they're going both in the second round. Like, I don't know. It's not like I want to full avoid them. I understand
it's
why
the
they're
market.
there, but
Yeah, it's the market overreacting to the offense going above and beyond, and then these are also coming out after like playoff games have gone off. So I think it's confidence and role, and then also I know there's a projection point for ADP. We're going off my rankings right now. If you want me to reset to ADP, I can.
no, that's fine. It's actually fun to go off your rankings just to switch.
So what I don't mind about this kind of a start though is that Zach Moss is not a lock to stay, and honestly, they have no reason not to ride their $35 million running back. I don't love it in a vacuum, but stacking him with AR is pretty easy and fun from a 3-week playoff gauntlet standpoint, and stacking division rivals, thinking about like the week 17 and playoff weeks. The NFC South is exciting and easy to stack, so I've kind of been trying to build those things when I can, like divisional leans, if I'm kind of torn.
I almost like the third round receivers more than the second round receivers, like Devontae, Pittman, Olave, Dell. If Marvin Harrison Jr. falls, like I almost like those guys more than the Debo, Ayuk, and DJ.
Where do you think Tank goes? I think Tank goes to the third or fourth hole because it just feels like that kind of a day.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. I don't see him lasting.
Yeah, Bendels. It's interesting that like I think last year the second round running backs were atrocious for meeting ADP, and some of that was situational, some of that was injury, some of that was just bad picks. But I'm kind of with you where from a positional scarcity standpoint, I understand chasing the receivers, but from like a scoring standpoint, I like having an anchor running back in the second round because the receivers in the third round are not materially different.
That whole range is just one. Like I see like yeah, there's almost no difference, and I almost prefer the third round guys, like especially if you can get that better running back in the second. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Math, but and Bendels, but I feel like Matthew McConaughey in the third round, where I look at all these dusty old guys, and I'm like, give me the young ass, give me that. I don't want that old floppy wide receiver. I want them perky young wide receivers.
Something to say for a nice old vet, though. They can teach you some new tricks sometimes.
I don't disagree with that. In fact, I'm at the point where I'm hoping that the old guys fall. Obviously, we see some no badges, not to profile, just take the names. But I think in sharp rooms, you see the older guys tend to fall more. Like this Keenan Price, aggressive. I know from a points per game standpoint, sure, but he's going on 33 and had a really rough injury marred end of the year.
Greg
he may be cut from the Chargers. He may be kept on the Chargers with a lot less volume in the passing. Like I barely like him where he's going at ADP, much less there.
Yeah, I definitely like Olave and Diggs, Adams, and Pittman all over him.
All right, Ben, let's talk to me about Jahmyr Gibbs because Vaporware mentions him. I'm not into Gibbs. I've seen him go like 102, 103. That I'm out on that because I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Lions fan. I love Gibbs from like a real life perspective, but I mean, like David Montgomery is not going anywhere. Like,
are we doing it? Are we doing it?
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's get it.
Fuck yeah, baby! Oh God, that feels good.
I'd be real interested in Laporta if he falls.
He's not. He's going. Yep.
Yeah. Jinxed it.
So here's the tough part. We have this nice stack. Stroud's ADP is 51.5. I'm a sicko. Yep. We pick at 58. Stroud goes naked. Do we want to try to push Stroud or do we take him as like QB4 just for stacking?
I'm trying to think what the like opportunity cost is here in terms
of. It's not great. I don't like it. Yeah. I'm just asking.
I feel like I'd rather push it. I don't know. I'm always the push it guy, so I don't know if that's the right move, but
yeah, let's try to make a super team. Let's push it.
All right. Who do we like here then? I'm assuming we're going to ignore Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I kind of like Neighbors, honestly, but I don't know if that's
Neighbors
dynasty brain seeping in.
Neighbors went.
Oh shit! Okay.
Who do we like? I've been leaning Amari Cooper in this, or Mark Andrews. What do we think?
Ooh, I like Andrews actually, but I don't know
What
if
do you
that's
think?
too many detours if we're gonna have to catch up at wide
You got
receiver.
Matt.
I like Smith.
All right. I
Amari
well,
Cooper. There you
they
go.
did not respect my quick fingers.
The best ball
You all
gods.
saw me hit the draft button.
It's
Want
okay.
us to get some
Cooper's
wrong.
fine. He's
Well,
got that
here's
vet.
my thought with Cooper. He put up some massive spike weeks. So if we already have numbers, I like targeting guys that put up massive weeks. I like the whole rebound offense thing. But Cooper also, it's so fucking hard to stack in these things that I've found recently. No one really wants or likes Deshaun. They just they lost their O-line coach, but they signed a new OC, I believe. So it's like Deshaun was good for fantasy and he really only fed Cooper. So from a stacking standpoint, easy to stack late, really good spike week, still only 29 going on 30. So from like an age profile, not too bad.
He looked, I mean, obviously he had the big 50-point week or whatever, but like he looked pretty good. Like I didn't look like he was slowing down at all.
No,
so, I mean,
he finally defeated some of the home away splits curse this year too. So
I as much as I am not a fan of Deshaun Watson, the human being, and he did not look great, like from a points per game standpoint, like I think he was still averaged like almost 20 points a game. It didn't look pretty, but like he still rushes. And,
yeah, the rushing floor was still there. I think he had
and
like
he's still gonna sling that rock deep. So like I feel like he's definitely a good stacking option late. Yeah.
Yeah. Mathology, to your point, if we didn't have already a Philly piece to like stack up, Smith is nice, but I in the early rounds, I really tend my drafting thought is go for guys that could be alphas and put up alpha nuke seasons or weeks. There he goes. God damn it. I knew a fucking casual was going to take Stroud, and there he goes.
Yeah, right around ADP. Yeah, that's worth a shot.
See this? Robbed of a casual. Damn it. Yeah, saw that coming. Oh, well.
Let's see. Who's coming up? Who's coming up?
All right. So you've got Mahomes falling. Mahomes goes. I really like Andrews. I really like McBride. AR stacks with JT, and then receivers wise, we come up to this.
Push him around.
Who do you want to push around?
AR. Let's get him in the next round. Let's get a wide receiver here.
Who do y'all want to take here? A wide receiver or a tight end?
Let's see who's there. If Andrews is there, we take him. But if he's not, then let's take. We got to stay on schedule. We need one.
Yeah, I was going to say as much as I.
So from these receivers, I really like Christian Kirk. If there's a chance Ridley leaves, and even if he stays, Kirk had a really good role. The offense can rebound, much like the Eagles. I think he's mispriced a bit. I think he should easily be going above these two from a volume standpoint, and he looked really good before the injury.
Yeah, I don't mind the Jags offense.
Yeah.
Also, Jags, we've already got NFC South division.
I like it.
Stacking playoffs. So
we're giving ourselves outs to week 17. Yeah. Let's go, Kirk. I'm down for it.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so we have 4 receivers, 1 running back. Okay.
Yeah, Kirk is kind of my own personal tier break because after that, I don't want these guys. Huge question mark with offense with new quarterback, and then you've got youth guy, upside veteran, mid-size veteran. And then Jacoby, and then I think another tier break. So I think Kirk is the last I think Kirk's probably my cliff, like the accurate cliff,
right?
From like
the uncertainty bubbles up right here. It's boiling up big time.
I don't get why he's going. He was going like pick 50 around last year, and like now he's going his ADP was 68. Like I don't. It's just
I think he's mispriced by at least a round. So I've been hammering him. Because sometimes he falls, but I as far as like taking guys over him, I don't want to take anybody over him because this is the time to get your guys. That one goes out to you, Kitchen. Live a little. But ADP's fake. I also know, so Aaron Jones, I saw the news that like he's gonna stay in Green Bay. But but y'all enjoyed chasing that 30-year-old running back who played half the season maybe this year.
Give me 29, 30 late. Yeah.
Yeah. If Aaron Jones is going around or around where Najee's going, like that, like 9th, 10th round, it'd be a different story. But he's going over here with. I mean, this feels like the dead zone. Like Kamara, Jacobs, Najee, or not Najee, but those are like the Najee.
Oh my God, bro!
Why are you double tackling? God
with
damn it.
Lamar too? I didn't want to jinx it. I was gonna say he's definitely not taking the quarterback.
Do we want to stay on schedule, or do we take a detour for a Kittle or a Kincaid, who are definitely not going to be there when we come back at tight end?
I'm fine staying on schedule. There's plenty of tight ends later.
Y'all want the rookie, or do y'all want McLaurin?
I'm good either way.
I kind of like Brian Thomas, honestly.
All right, Dynasty Virgins get Brian Thomas. Yeah. Big LSU playing more outside than slot. Sounds like another Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, big boy, score big points.
I just think he's live to get a really good landing spot. Like I think in like the 15 through, I think he's going to get steamed up in I think he's big. He's probably going to run pretty fast. I think even the Jags at 17, I've seen him mocked a decent amount, but if he does fall past that to some of the better offenses, I think it's looking real nice.
Well, we've seen teams still like smaller guys are working and they're getting away with it. But we also see teams prioritize the prototypical alpha profile. And I mean, we've got more of that in here, but Brian Thomas really offers that size and speed that everybody gets horny about. This is interesting. Some of these guys, I've seen Justin Fields been falling to the late 80s, mid 90s, which I think is fair because you're hoping he gets traded to a good team. He may stay, I don't like taking that cost, but I'm going to bang him away at then, 7th, 8th, 9th round.
Lawrence is going 110. Where are we?
That's literally what I was about to say. It looks like we're setting ourselves up for a
loss
stack.
So are we going to target? And this is what I've done this a lot. I take Kirk and I also have Ingram in my back pocket to double stack, knowing those two guys are going to be on the team and get
what rounds? Because it'd be nice to get a running back too.
Yeah. Well, so Ingram's 85 ADP, so he's going to go in this range.
Yeah.
These two red badges, only he has Laporta, and he does not mind doubling up at premium onesies.
Without a wide receiver? Does he even have a wide receiver?
I think he's got one. He's got Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
Anchor wide receiver strategy.
Right. Anchor wide receiver, baby. Receivers are a scam in half-point PPR. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
What running backs are going in that range where we're about to be up?
It's gonna be Najee, Tajay, who usually goes right about now. Raheem, who's been I just got him at 115 in another draft. Pollard, hold your nose and pray to God. And
got our boy Demont, right?
Demont went at 65.
There he went. Oh,
wow. Yeah. He went right.
I like any of Ramondre, Spears, or Najee. I'm fine with any of those.
So, what are your thoughts on Ramondre and Tajay, and what are your thoughts on these three? Mathology. I haven't heard your take on these guys.
I don't mind Najee at that price because
agreed.
He's gonna get 15 touches a game in the goal line.
I like him.
I don't really want to invest in the Patriots at all this early. I agree.
And Tajay feels like the super exciting guy that has a thin floor. So yeah, I've been taking a shit ton of Najee.
I think I prefer Najee, honestly. Yeah.
The price is
now. So who do y'all prefer at 82? Because they have the same ADP. So who do we feel more confident about pushing around?
Probably the tight end.
Okay.
Yeah, I say we take Najee.
Right.
Just by looking, Ingram's not that sexy.
Well, let me check what we're working with.
They both got tight ends, right?
No, J Long doesn't have a tight end.
No, keep the stack going. Fuck it.
Yeah, I lean the stack because
I think that's the right move.
yeah, I lean stack because I've seen some of these running backs fall. And
yeah, we got options there. I mean, I don't mind.
To me, Chuba does not feel much different than Najee coming into this year, except he might have the whole role to himself.
I kind of like Chuba, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to read the room.
Yeah, you guys have been blasting off. I'm still getting my bearings, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I had a feeling the red badge would go youth and receiver. Boom, we get our guy.
Hell yeah.
It worked out.
Push it, baby. That's the theme of this draft. Push it.
All right, Bendels, for the audio listeners, who do we have on our team?
Okay, so we have at running back, we have Jonathan Taylor and Najee, two big boys. Then wide receiver, we got Nico and Tank, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr. And then at tight end, we have Evan Ingram. So we have a little bit of a AFC South thing going with Taylor, the Houston boys, and the Jags. So hopefully we get a Week 17 matchup out of those guys.
The AFC South, the S stands for splash. Splash plays in the South.
Shout out.
The South will score again.
Shout out to Spags. They just became a squirt squad member today. I think I thought I was, so that's why I didn't do it, because like I thought I just had already done it when he first like rolled it out, and I realized I wasn't. So today on stream, he was shouting me out. He was doing his Italian bit, and I loved it.
He talked about giving you mama's sauce, which in some parts of the world would be considered a very intimate delicacy.
Yes, it is.
At quarterback, what are y'all thinking? I like to think ahead here. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence stacks.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we have I think of Deshaun as like a ripcord. How do y'all feel about the rookies, Caleb and Jaden specifically?
I prefer Daniels, honestly. I think he's going to get steamed the fuck up once he gets a landing spot, and once we see him run like a 4.40, and yeah, I think he's going to get steamed up.
I agree. I try to push him to 130. He doesn't always make it there, but that would be who I would be targeting to push at that 130, 135. For just raw upside.
Where's the likely landing spot for him? What are they saying?
Top 3. I've seen almost everyone that is an insider or an analyst or a mock draft aficionado, but mostly the insiders saying that like Jaden's going to go top 3 to somebody. And if he doesn't go top 3, it's going to be Arizona trading out for a king's ransom to whoever wants him at 4.
Yeah, I think he's a lock for probably top 3, but if he does
his rushing upside is insane, and his passing EPA that Spags pointed out is also insane. So he feels like a thinner but better, more efficient Anthony Richardson. So I've been a full 3.9 every time I click his name. I think there's some concern that if Caleb comes into the Bears, they try to like play like running back. Running game, like let the rookie learn the ropes bullshit. I'm not a fan of that coaching staff, and they could easily ruin Caleb like Cliff Kingsbury hampered Murray from time to time.
So you think Washington's pretty likely?
I was thinking Washington was super likely whenever Ben Johnson was going to coach there, but now it's up in the air. We're coming up here. How do we want to handle this turn? We're at no quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 5 receivers, 1 tight end. Trevor Lawrence is available to us. I think he's the guy we push.
Yeah.
For stacking purposes. So do we want to take a running back? Do we want to take one of these rookie receivers? Do we want to push them? How do we want to handle this?
I like Chuba here.
I like Chuba or Troy Franklin, probably.
I like Troy Franklin a lot, but I think it's worth pushing him just because we have arbitrage versions, and I like Chuba a lot. We go with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fits the bill nice.
This kind of fits the bill of we have reliable, high upside, high floor running backs, veteran, and we can take some rookie shots at receiver like we talked about before we launched off. I think it's a good way to attack it from a depth perception, 20 rounds.
I think it gives us flexibility having three pretty good running backs so far. We can do only like 5 if we want to, or we can, if it depends who falls to us. So it doesn't.
How many tight ends are y'all taking? Because I kind of like just taking 2 and only going 3 at like the QB position for stacks, or tight end if I just get values and it stacks up.
I've been doing a lot of, well, I haven't really drafted a ton yet. I think I've done like maybe 10 drafts, and majority of them are like 3-7-7-3s.
Yeah, I've done several of those, but I kind of like an extra shot on running back or receiver when I can. And I remember that tight end sucks. And you want to talk about a cliff at tight end, and then the lock got pushed up, and then post like Tyler Conklin, it's a sad state of affairs.
It is.
I think I lean 2, especially if you get like someone in the top like 100-ish range.
I've been taking detours for 2 tight ends in the top 115, maybe even the top 80. Like when I can get like 2 of the young guys and like Laporta and McBride, and then I know I'm done and I can load up at the other positions. That usually feels pretty fun.
I think it just frees you up for shots later for rookies, like you said. I like that. I'm literally always down for McBride. Like, I don't know, I have a man crush on McBride. I just feel like I think you had him back to back and with Andrews, but yeah, like I think he should be going. He was started at 110, now he's at 66. Like, I still think he should, like, realistically, I'd be fine pushing him all the way up to like the 45 range.
Well, points per game,
I don't know where he'll end up, but
he nearly matched Laporta in points per game with less touchdowns, and people are like worried about target competition. I'm like, Hollywood's gone. They'll bring another guy, but they're not going to be able to have like, he's going to be one of their 3 concentrated offense studs. So I'm not at a position that doesn't score much. So I'm like, give him 1.5 targets less a game and give him 0.75 more expected touchdowns a game. Sure. Cool. Please.
I don't think you can ask for much more than young tight end showing you all the peripherals that you can ask for, with Kyler, who absolutely feeds the tight ends. Whatever, if they're going to draft somebody, but that's fine. Like, at worst, I don't think he's going to be worse than the number 2 option. Like, even if they keep Marquise, I think he's pretty good target earner that's going to hold his own against.
Oh, he's proven to be a target hog a la young Kelsey. And you know how much we love the young, supple tight ends around here.
Yeah, Leone has his top 300 ranking for best ball already out, and they got Trey McBride around 62. So they still have him below market. So I bet he's going to be in the 50s and 60s, pretty much constant now, because he's going to continue to move up.
Yeah, so they're about 4.5 spots ahead of ADP on him, which I think is right. I think him going right around Andrews is correct.
Yeah, I think so. They got Kittle right ahead of McBride, pretty much at ADP.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, they got Kittle at 60, McBride at 62.
How are we thinking we want to handle this turn? I think quarterback is must if Jaden's available for the upside. Running back, receiver, tight ends, nada. What are we thinking?
I kind of like Daniels, but
yeah, I like both of those running backs you just clicked. Maybe get one of them.
Well, especially because Ford stacks with Cooper and potentially Deshaun as a double stack.
Yeah, I like that.
Are we good with Jaden, or do we feel like we push Jaden with these guys having 2 quarterbacks?
We push him with them having 2.
Are we good with Ford, or who do y'all like better, Ford or Chandler?
I like Ford for the build.
I like Ford.
All right. Look at us in lockstep. Don't fuck it up, Aninder, you bitch.
Have to make less decisions. Have to get less things right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're fading Chubb, if you don't take Chubb, I think you take, and that's what my other resolution was, to leverage fades or rises with the right move. So if I'm not taking Chubb in this draft and I'm worried about his position on the team and his recovery, then I better be taking his fucking backup that excelled pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's only the first time you've ever faded Big Chubb.
Let it be known, it does not bring me joy to fade Chubb.
Squaring it.
Oh, baby, I'm so excited. Give him to me.
Please.
take Ty Chandler. You want him. You read about him on RotoViz. He makes you horny. I don't care.
Oh,
Bingo.
Boom.
yeah.
Get Jaden.
Snap.
That's a
it.
nice quarterback for him right there.
Oh, dude, this is hot. Bendels, we wanna update the folks listening at home how this build is turning out.
We'll service the audio listeners here. We got Sunshine at quarterback. We got Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner, going to go top 3. Rushing upside, the next RG3. We got Jonathan Taylor, Najee, Chuba Hubbard, and Jerome Ford. So a solid running back room right there. We got the Houston boys. Shout out to Emo Cowboy, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, and Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. So we got the LSU stat going, and then we got Evan Ingram at tight end. So I think we're pretty well covered at all positions right now. It gives us some flexibility later in the draft to take whatever value falls to us. I like it.
So, important question that we should think about. Deshaun may be an option as a third quarterback stacked, but I think it's time to start hammering receivers. I like to hammer the rookies at this point in the draft that are getting buzz, steam, or have interesting profiles, along with some of the year 2 guys if they stack up. I'm assuming we're all in lockstep there about taking shots on them.
Yep, I like all those guys. You just queued up. Lean to Worthy and Devontae Walker, but I'm good with any of those guys.
Well, Devontae potentially falls his ADP of 180, and obviously they go as soon as they whatever. So I've seen him go early. I've seen him go right on schedule. So 178, I lean ADP. Sometimes, unless if you can vamp about Walker, vamp, because all I've seen about him is just being really awesome and liked by Jeremiah.
Yeah, I think he's another similar to Brian Thomas, just like kind of raw, but the size speed guy that could go early second, late first. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ETR has him at 165.
Okay.
Full round ahead of ADP, so he's going to climb.
Okay.
The market will change him up with their ranks.
We got about 6 picks. If it comes to it that we have our choice of Deshaun and our 2 preferred rookie receiver shots, do we double tap receiver to get us to 7 receivers, or do we want to take Deshaun to complete the stack? We don't need to, but I'm not comfortable with another quarterback outside of taking another shot on a rookie in May who is going to go around this ADP anyway. And then you've got like the Bryce Carolina thing, which, we talked about. He may end up with some rookie receivers, may bounce back. So I in fantasy football, I'd much rather bet on a guy like Deshaun if given a choice. What do you think?
One receiver and Deshaun. I think we're fine at receiver. We'll have 6, and we can.
I agree.
Some guys late.
Yeah. And back to the tight end thing. I think I'm only really taking 3 tight ends if I don't get 2 super solid ones I like, and that third one I'm trying to make sure is like one of the rookies that, like the Jatavian Sanders, the Cade Stover, the Gene Bells, the guys that the scouts like.
Yeah.
Someone with big upside. I'm not wasting a third unless I take my last 3 picks on like a Noah Fant, a Lamar Thomas, or whatever. So I assume we're going to take which of the 2 receivers do we want? Do we want Worthy or do we want Walker? Because I assume we push Deshaun. Or do we take Deshaun for the stack and just let them decide for us? But I'm just worried they take our 2 guys.
I like Walker, but I don't have a super strong lean.
Yeah, I don't really know the rookies very well. I'm kind of relying on you guys on that.
I think, I don't mind either one. If ETR is also on Walker, that's a second point. I just knew we were only going to get like maybe 1, but I didn't want to get none.
Yeah, I think it's smart to push Watson.
Looks like they have was it Worthy? Is that who?
Yeah, Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, they have him higher.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, his ADP is a little bit higher too, so I'm not surprised by that. But their ranking might be ADP related.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, we snap pick both Deshaun Watson, fuck you, human, but welcome to the squad for fantasy, and Devontae Walker to round out a 3-4-6-1 build right now.
So what tight ends do you guys like to tap on late?
Likely, but he already went.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I for veterans, I like Henry just because of who they've brought in for offense. I think, and there's buzz in the beat that he played well. I mean, we saw him play well. We saw him have several usable spike weeks. He's probably the likely guy to benefit, and at cost, I don't mind it because again, the Patriots seem to operate that running backs and tight ends will produce. Everybody else is a wasteland. So I'm fine with Henry. I just don't have a lot of him because people like to click him above ADP for name value. And outside of that, I don't mind taking shots on like Jawan Johnson with Michael Thomas leaving and them having to restructure Carr. And maybe Jawan takes on that like Michael Thomas red zone role that he was doing when Michael Thomas was out both years. And then you got Tyler Conklin with the Rodgers thing and Logan Thomas being a freebie who was serviceable with enough attempts.
I like Tanner Hudson, last round pick.
Oh yeah.
I saw you do that.
I mean, again, I'm always just investing in offenses. This is how I draft. So I think Cincinnati's going to bounce back pretty hard next year.
So here's my thing with Tanner. I think he proved useful. He's like 28 though, and I could see Cincinnati doing what the Bills just did, copying what the Kansas City Chiefs do, which is take the athletic tight end who plays like a receiver when the receivers get wiped out that you like. And they might be like I think Brock Bowers to Cincinnati would be like the nut outcome.
Right.
And wouldn't be insane. And then all of a sudden Tanner is just a backup. Right. And Bowers is operating at a cheaper cost, and especially if they let Higgins walk. They take they let Yoshivas and Charlie and whoever they take it, I'm sure they take another rookie. So yeah, that's my only. I think Tanner's fine, but he feels like maybe empty calorie fine. Right. It just depends on how your build goes out.
Yeah, for tight ends, only I know Henry and Fant are both free agents. So I like taking shots on them just because, I don't know, they could land somewhere and go.
Okay, so we're on the clock. We didn't really get to talk much about it.
Is Mayer still available or no?
I highlighted him, but I think he went. Yeah, Mayer went way ahead of ADP. Do we want another rookie receiver? Do we want a tight end to end it 2? Do we want to take running back? We have 10 seconds.
Let's take the best available wide receiver.
All right.
I like Corley.
Well, he just got a shit ton of Senior Bowl steam, so welcome to the squad, Malachi Corley.
On rookie wide receiver.
And then if Johnson turns around, Johnson has some spike week potential at tight end.
Yeah, I think it's Johnson or Henry for me. I don't mind Johnson. Johnson goes.
Henry, I'm fine with Henry.
If I take Henry, I think with Henry and Ingram, I'm fine with 2. Yeah. And then that allows me to take more shots at receiver and running back. Y'all like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so we've just added Hunter Henry, the Ghost Spike Week, Hunter and Malachi Corley to the squad. We have 4 more picks to go. I'm assuming those will be. We're at a 3-4-7-2 build. How many do y'all want to do? 2 and 2? Do we want to do 3 and 1? How do we want to finish this build out? Roughly.
I feel like 2 and 2, but yeah.
How many running backs we have?
We have 4 running backs. We took Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd, and then we waited till the 8th round to take Najee, double tapped with Chuba in the 9th. We took Jerome Ford in the 11th. We're at 4 running backs.
Yeah, we need a minimum of 6. Minimum.
Yeah, I think minimum of 6, depending on who the 6th is. If they're 2 rookies, Helene maybe a vet.
Devontae Foreman.
Hey, he's live for one 30-point game per year. Yeah.
Yeah. So the veterans I'm targeting are like Kareem Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde, Ronnie Rivers backing up Kyron on teams I don't take Kyron on.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I like Gibson, honestly. Same thing, free agent. Like, could walk, you never know. Contingent upside and pass catching role. I don't know. Not the worst bet to make super late.
Okay, so Audric Estime goes. That's a bummer. He's an exciting rookie. J.K. Dobbins goes. I'm not taking any J.K. Dobbins.
I'm not taking any J.K. Dobbins. I'm sorry.
I've heard a bunch of fantasy folks we respect like him, ignoring the fact that he just had a double ligament tear, which is wrecked it was Achilles.
Achilles, yeah, even worse.
Yeah.
We saw Deonta Foreman take about 2 or 3 years to recover from
Cam
Akers from
didn't
Achilles.
look great.
So I think JK is not. I'm not taking any JK at all this year. And if I do, it's certainly not before I hear how his recovery is going.
If he was going later, like 19th, 20th, whatever, 18th, maybe, but like I don't get why he's going this
way. Sorry, Yosh. Andre Ishovas goes. We cannot add him as a second-year guy to the squad, but I think he's a fantastic late-round pick. He had a 2-touchdown game to end the season, and if any one of Boyd and or Higgins leaves, I think he's a very interesting guy that obviously earned some trust from the coaching staff to take a shot on in the 17th or 20th rounds.
What about a little Chris Rodriguez?
Yes.
If our man lands in Washington.
You're not worried about new coaching staff just bringing in and drafting their own replacement guys?
I'm always worried, I'm always worried.
Aren't you worried?
Draft like you're right.
This is true. Question everything like you're wrong. That's my caveat. I'm assuming we want to take our running back of choice unless we want to take our last receiver of choice. Because at this point, I'm just taking shots on rookies or upside bets. So how do we want to handle this? 25 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I would. If you guys like a wide receiver, take it because I got plenty of running backs.
All right. Who do we like? Do we want another rookie? Do we want a vet?
I'd say Roman Wilson, rookie.
He's getting a lot of Senior Bowl steam. I like that. And then we can just bang out 3 running backs. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Solid enough.
Who would be our first choice at 207 for our 5th running back? Do we want to take a rookie, Marshawn Lloyd, who just got voted best running back on one of the teams in the Senior Bowl? Do we take a chance on Will Shipley's Donuts, or do we take a vet?
I like Lloyd, or it just how far does Ronnie Rivers usually fall? Because his ADP's 230.
Ronnie Rivers is free. He's last
then
round.
I guess push Rivers, but I really like Rivers. I just feel like
you like Rivers this early?
Not this early. I think if his ADP's later, we should just push him. It's not.
I think with Jonathan Taylor, Najee, you fucker, Chuba and Jerome, I like taking shots on rookies at least once to inject a little bit of upside youth, but will not be mad if we take a vet.
I mean, I don't love Kareem Hunt, but Shipley or
Schrader's also been Schrader. Both those guys go later. And then we're gonna take 3. I like taking 1.
Shipley.
Okay, yeah, let's take a rookie. I don't really take on Shipley versus Schrader. It's all based on draft capital anyway, so whoever goes.
ETR has him at like 194.
Okay, so about almost a round and a half ahead of ADP.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think breaking that tie into.
Anytime you can draft a white running back, you just have to do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think.
Sarkis.
And then looking at the PFF big board, they have Will Shipley as their 126th prospect out of Clemson. I think he's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 9th running back on their list right after Marshawn Lloyd. So I think that fits.
Yeah, ETR's down on Lloyd.
Okay, interesting. I will note for Lloyd, he's getting some Senior Bowl buzz. And then the other buzz I saw was Michael Wiley catching a touchdown pass on a red zone out and flat route at the Senior Bowl. So can catch.
Did I think I saw? Did Ray Davis already go? I think he's been getting.
Oh yeah, Ray Davis has been steaming up.
Okay.
I've tried to keep him up my ranks to keep up with the steam, but yeah, he went at 192.
Wow.
His ADP is 209, so he's already kind of.
Oh, he went 192. Okay.
Getting steamed up.
About
What
Ty
about,
Johnson?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Ty Johnson, I don't know. He's scat back in Buffalo. Maybe.
What do you think? What about Emmanuel Wilson, Green Bay Packers?
That one's more interesting because Dylan's almost certainly gone. But
Yeah,
I also
they don't
wouldn't
hate
be
it.
surprised if they bring in a replacement, though.
What about DeMarcado?
He looked like he got left for dead. I mean, your guy Deontay Foreman, I'd take over all those guys.
I like Foreman or Rivers.
Foreman's going to have a role. I think Rivers has that backup role, but Deontay Foreman had that, 3 touchdown game, so he feels
Back
sexy.
from the dead, Rashad Penny.
Left for dead and staying dead with Rashad Penny?
I got caught with a bag with him last year, I'll tell you that much.
You and everybody else, man.
The process.
I think the only good thing about taking Penny Gainwell aggressively with he's the running back one steam that we were made fun of for was that it helped us avoid taking Penny. At least I wasn't taking 2 of those guys in that backfield very often when there was like fun coming out about Penny.
Yeah, I like Foreman. He's 27. Just need to find the right spot. He's a free agent.
Yeah, that's the thing. He went to a team that sandbagged him for Herbert and Roshan, and then did not give Roshan lead back duties. So I'm cool if we do Foreman and Rivers, or I'm partial to Hunt just because he's proven to be valuable in both aspects of the game. I don't know if he's
all the goal line, man.
Yeah, goal line and receiving. That's crazy. What you're looking for.
Is he a free agent?
I think he's 29.
Yeah, he's 29, and he's a free agent this year, so he could go wherever. Like
the Chiefs.
Yeah, he'll jump on he'll jump on a contender. He'll get red zone. He'll get
head to the Bills. Kareem Hunt, is that who we want?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Him or Rivers, either doesn't matter to me.
I think Hunt has more upside.
I agree with that. Yeah. If Ronnie had gotten the full load instead of just sharing the load, I'd be more confident in it. A lot of load talk today. Everyone's shocked.
Oh no, hernia surgery for Hunt. Fuck.
Yeah, well, in February, which means he's got 6 months to rest and rehab his old fucking groin. Ice that groin, son.
My penis.
All right, so our final squad. I really liked how this turned out. Bendels, you wanna service the fine audio folk?
So one last time, we'll service you guys. T-Law, Jaden Daniels, and Watson. At QB, we got Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Chuba, Jerome Ford, Will Shipley, Donta Foreman, and Kareem Hunt. So we got a good mix of old and young. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, and then we finished it out with 4 rookies: Brian Thomas, Tez Walker, Malachi Corley, Roman Wilson, and then only 2 tight ends: Evan Ingram and Hunter Henry, who is a free agent. So we're living a little and hoping he lands somewhere juicy.
Dude, this team is sexy, and that's never fucked us over. But how about we will ship it? You know what I'm saying?
Stayed on schedule. So important early in the draft, man. Staying on, because then you get the freedom to do what we did. You know, if we took one more detour early, we would have been like, fuck.
Yeah, this is real nice. I mean, the only thing that hurts a little bit is missing out on Stroud, but I like the QBs we ended up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said,
spike weeks. Big bong spike weeks.
Yeah.
The thing with Stroud is that you have to reach for him, or you have to be reaching for Nico. Stroud, Nico, Tank is the new Hertz, Smith, Brown. You have to reach on one of those guys in order to stack them up.
Yeah.
Just the way that people are taking Stroud, and
I think Stroud's gonna fall in time.
I think so too.
Burrow never really fell enough, and even when he did, people would take him naked. But we compensated with that by taking we compensated for that, by the way, by taking a high upside rushing quarterback in Jaden, and a lowbrow human being, but high floor, high rushing ceiling Deshaun. So I think we adjusted pretty well there. I'm real fired up about that team. The receiver room's nice.
Yeah.
Let's
see. The market setter ETR has Stroud at 59. So they have him a half a round back of ADP right now.
Yeah. I just think the common folk are gonna blow their load too much. But what are you gonna do?
They set the market though. A lot of people saw it. People just upload their ranks and draft off their ranks. So we'll see.
Yeah, thank you guys for holding it down for the first 20 minutes of the show. That was had a little curveball thrown at me, so I really appreciate you guys stepping in for me. You guys are true professionals. Know you guys can talk ball for hours and hours, so I figured you guys could hold it down.
I just found out Hunter Henry's wife's pretty cute, so that's good. I'm gonna add that to
little pillow talk ball.
Little alpha.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Let's be fun to catch and see how this team progresses throughout the season. Let's do it again.
Oh, can't wait. We gotta keep a finger on the pulse of ADP in the market. It's what we do. We apply 2, no less than 2, sometimes 3 fingers into the market to make sure that we keep the pulse alive and well. So go Cougs. Enjoy your Mardi Gras season. That's what we're doing here, and we're just drafting all fucking year, I guess. My wife was just as disappointed in me as you think when she saw me drafting a team and cooking the other night. She's like, and she looked at me and she's like, they haven't even had the draft yet. Why would you do that? And I was like, you're asking very logical, rational questions, but we don't do logic or ration here. Thank you, Yosh. Thank you. We hope this team fucks its way to a will ship.
This team's going to shock the world. Have a good Friday, guys, and have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good one, y'all.